bring it over to the kid. Because with the kids there, you don't sell the car tomorrow or the day after that. But in 10 years' time, you convince him to buy the right car.
Vehicle and asset finance from Absa, overcoming all obstacles. Finance from Absa, going the extra mile to get you financed.
Our preview of the tough Sun City 400 Round 3 of the Absa Off-Road Championship continues here on Supersport. Next up, we heard a rumor that Castrol Toyota driver Bevan Berthold has been hard at work at improving his fitness. We found out that the talk was true and caught up with him, but we had to run fast to do it.
Bevan, first off, most people will want to know, why do motor racing guys have to stay fit?
Look, when you start racing, it's all about fun and that. You get better and better, and you start looking for the edge to improve yourself. How do I improve myself? Yes, you work on the car. Now, all of a sudden, I've got a team that's doing very well for me. Toyota provide me with everything. They don't hold back. They do great mechanics job. They do great everything they're doing. So you've got to put 100% in. And it's nice when you're finishing third, second, whatever, but the difference between finishing third and winning is that there's a major difference. And that is the ultimate edge. And what happens is that comes into effect in the last 100 Ks. And most of our races are 400 Ks or more, like the desert races, 1,000, for example. And you can notably, if you go and have a look at the times, that the guys slow down a bit and they lose that edge. And that is what will make you win or lose a race. And obviously, with off-road racing, it's becoming faster and faster and faster. So it's to avoid attrition, and the only way to do that is to have the reflexes. Hence, I've trained with the boxing and with the squash and with the running, you know. And I've got personal trainers, and namely Sean Smith in the boxing field, which if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to maintain. You know, you've got to deal with that guy. You've got to be there at least 3 to 4 times a week. And if you start missing, you're letting him down and yourself. So that's the reason, you know.
Have you found that the concentration that you have at the end of the race, now that you're fitter, is noticeable as compared to the old days when you weren't fit?
I must say that I've never really not been fit, but you know, fitness is, you get guys that are Olympic super athletes and that, and you always strive to try and be that. But you start working, and it takes a couple of years to work out your metabolism and, you know, what foods work for you and what don't work for you. And I've had to change a lot. I try not to eat bread. If I eat pasta, it's before 2 o'clock. And the more you watch it, the more conscious you become, and you notice your sweat rate and things like that. And obviously, you know, you start working at the heart rate, but I try to make this fitness regime not like an ultimate obsession, because you can start watching everything and then lose track of the actual motor racing, you know. So you've got to balance it. You've got to be in a go-kart. You've got to be practicing to stay sharp. You've got to play squash league, and you've got to focus on how to play squash. It doesn't help you to go run 10 Ks. Now you've got to beat a guy on a squash court. You've got to think about that. You come to boxing, it's a lot of different combinations, and that is training my mind. When he's talking, he's saying left, left, right, hook. Your brain's got to communicate that to your hands, and it's exactly the same as off-road. I found a massive relationship between boxing and that. And obviously, you want to be sharp, you know, and I'm here to win ultimately and to get to Dakar. And if that's what it's going to take, I'm going to carry on going until I achieve that.
People say there's a rumor going around that you're not all that competitive. Are you competitive in the gym at least?
Look, there's a number of guys out there that are going very quick, and that are, I watch on the TV at night. I go slowly through it. I watch a guy's driving styles. I watch everything. I believe that with a heavy fitness regime, you'll maintain the concentration. And a guy like Hannes has won 22 races in the last 6-7 years. And at this stage, I've had to say to him, well done. I want to get out the car, and he must come to me and say, well done. I must beat him outright. And with the development of Toyota, because they've only been in it for 2 years now, they've come up very quickly. And to have led him in the last race is a major achievement of their part. So, like I said, they're putting their bit in, they're putting huge money into it, and we will achieve it. It's a matter of time, you know.
Does your ego get in the way of your racing sometimes?
You know, I must say that every racing driver's got an ego. They'll be lying if they said they don't have whatever. And one thing about this racing, I've got a very professional navigator, and thank goodness I do have that to slow me down. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a racing car. You're going extreme speeds, so you've got to decide whether you're going to hold it flat over a blind rise or not. Now, if you want to win, you've got to hold it flat, and there comes to that. You know, you've made a decision to do that. You're taking a navigator's life at risk, and you're being competitive. So that's a fine balance, and I enjoy that at this stage of the game.
Bevan, there is talk about the racing and the fact that you're going in good directions, but there's this parallel between fitness in here as well as racing in the car. Tell us about that.
100%. The hardest thing about off-road racing is to be able to slow yourself down. It's easy to hold it flat and then you have an accident, you know. And like I said about the navigator, that's where he comes into his own. He's always getting me down to about 90%. He's saying, take it easier, take it easy, go, go, go. And that helps, and that's a good team, you know. With the nutrition and eating, everything, you've got to do it right to achieve the ultimate goal. And I must say, the stakes are high, you know. To win now, it's like I said, to finish third, you drive nice, you hit nothing, you finish third. To win, you've got to stick your neck far out, and you've got to keep it together. And to do it consistently, you've got to get used to doing that, and that's what I'm trying to achieve.
Lastly, give us a time frame on when Bevan Berthold will be in fine shape, in the best car that he's possibly got, really kicking butt out there.
I'm giving myself this whole year. I'd like to win 1 or 2 races this year with a bit of luck. You can never call it. I've written a championship off. We're not worrying about that. We're trying to develop. But when we arrive at our first race next year, I'd like to be well tested, relaxed, and with an old car, not always a new car, new stuff, and then go and have a fair chance at winning the championship, not just arriving there to finish third or second or wherever. So this year is about keeping it together. And next year is seriously championship material for winning. And then obviously within 3 years, I'd like to be at Dakar. I need to do it once, and then I need to go and try and win with an overseas navigator. There's no reason in the world. I mean, Janil is no superstar. He's just ground his way through it for a long time, and he's become very good at it. And there's no reason why I can't do that.
Now that you've made the closer acquaintance of 2 of the main protagonists in the duel for supremacy at the City in the Sun, let's take a look at the other gladiators and their glittering steel chargers. In the production car class, the Super Production or SP class has hotted up, and it's bound to be even more so in the expected dust of the Northwest. Whatever the case may be, Grobler and his navigator Francois Jordan have been utterly dominant so far, and the Navara has been as reliable. Look for them to continue on this note. They have a 23-point lead at the top. But there's reason to believe that the other teams have closed the gap on Nissan. And from within the camp itself, there's a brand new challenge. First off, though Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford, both former champions, have been there or thereabouts, and will be a thorn in the flesh for the other works teams as they have to go over or 3/4 to get to Grobler. And that's not such an easy call. He and Pitchford are experienced, tough, and will do anything within the rules to ensure the red and white brand stay atop the points log. Add to that the Norwegian adventurer, mountaineer and Dakar driver Ivar Tollefson and his faithful British co-driver Quinn Evans, who emerged from the dust of KZN with a fine second place, and you can see that the Nissan camp is bursting with talent and enough experience to fill up a Nissan warehouse in Roslyn. The Midrand-based team under the able leadership of Glenn Hall have been atop their game for many a year, and it will take a lot to topple them. That, however, doesn't mean that there aren't hordes of teams ready to try and do just that. The Century Property Development's Nissan Navara of Mark Corbett and Rudy Balzar are ready, able and willing, and could very well be the champions after the 400 k's of driving in and around the Pilanesberg. Not to mention the Ford team. Brandon Harkis has already had 2 outings in his Ford Ranger and has improved in each one thus far. He's clearly getting to grips with a production car after spending most of his off-road life behind the wheel of a space frame car. Harkis is one determined pilot and is without doubt ready to beat Grobler and provide the Ford faithful something to smile about, although there are already signs of that with the improvement that the camp has done so far. The Barlow World Absolute Ford with Manfred Schroeder at the helm and Warren Huxtable calling has, as they always are, been very consistent, and they will be a feature. KwaZulu-Natal Schroeder is the reigning Class D champion and knows how to preserve a car yet get the best out of it. A dangerous combination. Reigning SP champions Neil Woolridge and Kenny Scholthammer have not scored any points thus far in the opening salvos. Therefore, they know that the Tour of Sun City and the surrounds is crucial if they're to keep their championship hopes alive. The former national champions will be hoping that the Ranger stands up to the pounding this time out. In the Castrol Toyota camp, there's a quiet optimism running through team manager Wamia Dudd's charges. Young Mark Grenier has steadily been learning to get the most out of his car, yet controlled enough to conserve it at the same time, while under the tutelage of navigator Chris Birkin. for Bevan Berthold, well, the man with the newfound fitness is convinced that he has the beating of Grobler, particularly after leading him for more than 120 k's in Grogluwe before breaking his car as they came into the designated service point. Hichu and Jaap de Bruin in their McLaren XL dealer Toyota have also been learning at a rate of knots in the SP class, and this crew are competitive. They never give up. Another Castrol Toyota SP team are able to upset the apple cart is Chris Visser and Jappie Baardnost, who didn't finish in KZN, but they are running a Class D vehicle in this class, a tall order. A Nissan crew also heads the Class D championship. Brothers Yuri and Andre Duplessis in the BB Auto Nissan Hardbody have 13 points in hand over their nearest rivals, and their teammates won't be easy on them either. Their points advantage was cut in half when Shock Class D Grogluwe winners Roman Besaidnout and Stefan Locke closed out the victory with an emphatic 10-minute margin. Two crews are tied for third. Brothers Harold and Tian Kun in their green and black liveried Land Rover. They share the same points tally with the Raysonics crew of Kutsia Labaskachny and Johan Gerber, who are known as a very consistent outfit. In Class E, two solid results have taken the Castrol Toyota Hilux pairing of Brian Martin and Oki Fourie to the top of the class. But Ford's Works entry in this category, the Ranger with Jack Peckham and Lucio Santoro aboard, are just a single point off, and they will be applying the pressure. The Barkhuizen's husband George and wife Sharon powered their Toyota to a class win and fifth in the production car class with a great drive in E, but they did not finish in the Cape, so the Rurcon team will be hoping for more consistency. Kobus van Tonda and his co-Rian Guapa impressed by taking second in Grogluwe, so they may very well be able to use that as a springboard for greater things in their dignified-looking but fast Unifreight Pajero. But whatever the case may be, they're all chasing the 10-time national champion Hannes Grobler, who leads no less than 5 Nissans in the top 10 on the points log. In the special vehicle category, the door is wide open. The father and son combination of Nick and Ryan Harper are to blame, as they handsomely won the Nissan Grogluwe 400 title in their new Atlas Copco bat, thus earning the honor of going top of the class. They're still coming to grips with a new and improved special vehicle, and Sun City will be a baptism of fire for them. Second place Shamir Varayawa and his Nav Siegfried Rousseau finished the fastest of all the cars, bar none, at the Elephant Coast event, and the Total Porter team seems to have sorted out early season teething problems and are ready to battle for national championship honours. While Nardis Alberts and Colin Hunter and their Rapsabat will be right up there, and they could very well find the Sun City Bush suited to their challenge. However, a news release from the Motorrad camp suggests that the rest of the teams are in for a hard time. The dominant team of the last 2 seasons have announced that they will saddle up 2 brand new backed Spec 3 specials from engines, gearboxes, suspension and new geometry, and it means that the Motorrad crews will be highly competitive. In Class B, the father and son combination of Jan and Hendrik Kraai will be hoping to be the same at Sun City as they were in KwaZulu-Natal, where they won with comfort. And the Besaidnouts and their Adenko bats will also be a severe threat to the championship points leaders. These 2 teams are just 11 points adrift. Giel Null and Sandra Labaskachny in their Bozel Zarco Truggy scored points in both the first 2 outings and will want to cement their place in the top 4. While in Class S, the perennial favourite Richard Schilling and his co-Chris Davies lead in their Plastotech Aceco, and their key to victory is always go as hard as you can for as long as you can. They'll be doing the same thing again for sure. Nick Gosler and Richard Carolyn were the only other Class S finisher in Grogluwe, and they're hoping for a repeat of history at Sun City. But Sun City and Surrounds has not had a massive amount of rain of late and is bound to be dry, dusty and as always very warm. It should make for some real showdown racing, and as it stands at the moment, the Harpers only have a 7-point advantage over Varayawa, while the Motorrad lads are also ready to pounce. They're in 3rd and 5th place as we speak. The Sun City 400's prologue will be contested on Friday the 11th of May